Well, holy smokes, folks, I'm back up here. So, full disclosure, last week when we came up to the bus, we had a rough ride getting up here, bad traffic. Sue was feeling a little nauseous, a little car sick, boys were grumpy. I didn't film. We had other stuff to do. So, we don't have exactly no footage of us gluing down the subfloor, but I will tell you that it looks a lot like us gluing down the foam, only with plywood. I can, of course, show you what it looks like now. So here's what the bus looks like right now. We have the Formular glued in. Nice solid base. Got a little puddle down here I gotta take care of. Guess the cap still isn't completely cleaned up yet. Anyways, this is the bus as it is now. All that we have done since last we shared is glue down all of this plywood, which we cut in around, we did tighter cuts in around the wheel wells, and then a sort of loose cut I have to clean up a little bit for the fuel tank cover and for the fuel fill cover right there. The other thing that we did is we put great stuff in along the edges of the foam everywhere to fill that gap and just make it one solid sheet of foam. Mostly Formular, because the great stuff doesn't have the compressive strength that the Formular does. So it's mostly Formular, but there's great stuff along all the edges and filling in the gaps anywhere there are some. And that's all we did. Then we got the heck out of here and had a day. So today, what I want to do is actually do a little bit of rust remediation. So, what I mean by that is that we have done a lot of adding steel and cutting steel in the bus. And none of that is necessarily perfectly sealed yet. In fact, it's necessarily not. So today, I want to take a step that's going to get me to the point where I no longer have to worry about exposed steel rusting. And we're going to do that in a couple of steps. And I'm going to take a shortcut because it's just me up here today. It's not the kids or the wife. So here's the plan. I'm going to go around and I'm going to find all of the places like, sorry the lights aren't on. I should do this with the lights on, but I'm not going to. I'm going to find all the places like this where there's some light surface rust. I probably don't need to, but I think I'm going to hit that with a little bit of metal prep. I'm also going to look for all of the places like this windowsill. And that's probably going to get a little bit of metal prep. All these corners up here, let's see if I can find it again. All these kind of corner areas in here where there's some loose, a little bit of, possibly even a little bit of loose rust up in there. That's all going to get metal prepped. I'm going to give that a second to dry, more than a second. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to hit it all with some acetone to degrease it. And then I'm going to try to spray a rust inhibiting primer in here. But before I can spray, I will need to mask off any of the glass that I would like to stay clear. That's the plan for the day. I'm getting a late start. But yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to degrease it using, I'm not going to use Simple Grid today. I'm going to use acetone. Couple reasons. I'm not going to be using a mop, so it's not going to leak out the bottom of the bus. I'm just doing the walls, and it'll probably don't even have to do the ceiling. That all looks fine. But I'm going to use acetone because the wife and the kids aren't here. I will wear a respirator, and I won't have to wait for it to dry as much. The acetone will flash off a lot faster. That's the plan. For now, I think I'm going to take a second, get the bus turned on, and bust out some prep materials and maybe start time lapse. Here we go. Hey, so I'm back up the bus. Gonna be a quick day today. Actually, hasn't even been that long since I was last up here because I did a midweek thing. It's also why I haven't finished editing. End of last video, I'm thinking I had just finished painting, and that's still true. I'm also doing a little looking around. It's interesting as we start to get, more of the bus painted and stuff. I'm finding out where the leaks are at least collecting. So I'm greeted by a nice wet stare there. The thing is, I have no idea where that came from. So that's on the list of things to think about, but not today. It'll be fine for today. Oh, top one's up there too. Interesting. Don't know what's leaking. You have to look for that. But time to start looking for those things. Anyways, in the bus proper, doesn't look like there's a lot of water in here, which is a little surprising because it's still the giant holy. The only thing holding water out from the windows is a rather transparent tarp. But yeah, today I am mostly focused on relining the floor. It's a short day for me. I have a personal commitment, so I'm going to try to redraw all of the hydronic lines in the floor so I have an idea where not to drill moving forward. And then I did already take a quick look at this door, and we're trying to determine how we're going to build a door frame that fits in here, because there's a slight curve right here. Actually, right here in the bus, right down here. Slight curve right here in the bus. And I have to decide how much I care and how flat exactly I want that door to sit, you know, or how plumb. Or flat's probably a better term than plumb in a bus. Buses don't really do plumb. Turns out that when you move them, that one changes slightly. The angle at which they sit changes slightly. But that's not necessarily a problem for today. Today we are going to get the floor lined out, and then I'm going to go wish a friend of mine a happy 50th. So let's get started. Hey, so I was editing this video and realized that I never filmed the conclusion. Oops. What you saw was me putting these lines, hang on, all over on the floor. You can't see it anymore. These lines all over on the floor again. Hopefully you can see the red lines that I put in there. And the general idea is that we shouldn't drill through or cut through the red lines, because that's about where the hydronic hoses are. Took a whole bunch of time. Probably worth doing. So I'm going to wrap up this week's video by saying like, subscribe, comment, ring a bell, and most importantly, have a great week. I'm going to also now basically turn around and start another clip where I start the next video, which will be furring out the walls a little bit. So I'm going to work with the wife and the kids and figure out where some things are going and get some attachment points on the walls. So look out for that next week. And in the meantime, have a great week. Talk to you soon.